You know, I had the great honor and privilege of being on this stage last year to talk about my story, and as we went through the family program at Residence 12 last year, and so I'm thrilled to be able to come back this year. I remember talking specifically about being in the happy middle because we hadn't yet reached our happy ending.
And usually when you come to these events here at Residence 12, we tell you about the woman who is very sick and she walks into Residence 12 and she transforms and then she walks back out the door and leaves.
Yeah, that's the happy part you hear, but for us the hardest part was really the years after the treatment center. That's when the real hard work began. But before we get to where we are today, we have to go back to the ugly beginning. I remember a time when I was driving home from work almost on a nightly basis, and I was angry and frustrated and scared because, quite frankly, I just didn't know what was waiting for me when I walked in those doors. So just imagine that, driving to your home and not knowing what was going to be there for you. And I remember the first time I ever said out loud, "Oh my God, I think Bert is an alcoholic," and I dismissed it. And it was a tough time in our lives because it was just filled with so much doubt and we had no idea what was happening.
And I was at home. At this point, I was drinking red wine out of a coffee cup, and I was frantically thinking, okay, Frank's is on his way home. I don't want him to smell the alcohol. What can I do? I didn't have any perfume or anything of that nature, but I did have foot cream, so I'll rub that on my neck. That'll cover the smell of alcohol. And I sat there, my adrenaline was going up, and I'm trying to figure out just how drunk I can get and how not drunk I can get before he walks through that door. Because I knew when he walked in that door, I'd get the sniff hug.
Hi, welcome home. Oh, you just sniffed me.
Yeah, I did.
What was that?
I smelled alcohol on you.
Oh,
I smell alcohol.
That's my lotion that you're smelling.
That's not lotion. That's alcohol. You smell like alcohol.
Well, but I mean, you know, it was just a tiny little bit. You weren't here, and I was by myself.
Yeah, I know. That's what we talked about.
I know.
Drinking alone. We decided that's not such a good thing, right?
Look, I don't drink and drive. That's good.
It doesn't matter. A little tiny bit or whatever. I mean, we decided that that's not something you were gonna do.
What do you want?
I just like it if we could just make that decision and then stick to it.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I won't do it. I won't do it again. How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
And that is what we now lovingly called the dance. And this went on for years, just this back and forth where, you know, Bert promised to get better and stop, but she just couldn't help herself and she would just, you know, collapse again and it would all start all over again.
And every time he'd ask me to stop, I would just go deeper. I'd become more of a secret. So what that meant is that I would have to go to different grocery stores. First of all, because I knew that grocery clerk was watching me. So I'll go to 5 different grocery stores to get my wine.
Morning, Joe.
That's me.
Great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm, you know, buying this for a recipe.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, beef bourguignon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that takes a lot of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm having a party at my house. It's, you know.
Big party.
Big party, yeah. I invited the neighborhood watch.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. You could come. Do you live in my neighborhood?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's here. So I need these for book club.
Oh, book club.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in a book club. What book?
I'm reading The Happy Little Puppy.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah.
Then once I got home with all of my wine bottles, I had to figure out where to hide them, how much I can drink, and then how to get rid of the empties. And that was the most challenging part for me. So at first I would just throw them into a bag and then throw them in the trash, but they rattled. So I'd get newspaper and I would wrap each bottle in the newspaper in a bag, then I would put them in my closet so that I would have time to throw them away at some point.
course, eventually I would find them. I remember one Saturday in particularly when I was cleaning, and by cleaning I mean I was actually looking for her empties because I had suspected it was continuing on. And in her closet, sure enough, down in the bottom, way tucked in the back on the right-hand corner, there was a bag of empties. And then the hunt really began. And I started turning the house upside down, looking all in her known hiding places and suspecting hiding places just everywhere I can think of. And I didn't stop there. I took every one of those empty bottles and I stacked them on the counter in the kitchen until it filled up the entire counter space. And then, on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, I just sat down and waited for her to come home and waited for the next confrontation.
And I was at work. I was a television reporter at King 5, so I'd gone live. I was under a lot of adrenaline. I knew where I'd hid my wine. I knew I had to talk to Frank for a few minutes, check on the kids, and then I could get to my wine.
What?
I'm so sorry.
I found bottles in a garbage bag.
Were you in my closet?
Yes, I was in your closet.
Why'd you go in my closet?
I was everywhere.
You were everywhere?
There were bottles everywhere. What is going on?
I just.
What is going on with you?
I don't know.
What is so hard about this? You said you wanted to quit, so quit.
I know I haven't quit.
I mean, what's so hard about it?
It's hard, okay?
Why can't you just pull yourself up by your bootstraps?
By my bootstraps? I don't have boots. I can't even feel my feet.
I did it. I quit. I
That's
stopped.
you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not you.
I don't understand why this is so tough.
Clearly.
Well, then help me understand.
I want to quit.
Well, you keep saying that, but this keeps happening.
Okay, so what is it? What do you want?
What do you want? Do you want to stop?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, then get some help.
Okay.
And lucky for me, I found residence 12. And I remember in those days, I just couldn't take a deep breath for years. I was just I was rather talking, I was so nervous, and I was just filled with anxiety and shame and guilt. And I will never forget pulling my little suitcase, my husband was by my side, and walking into the lobby at residence 12. And for the first time in years, I was able to take a deep breath.
And for my part, I remember for the first time in years being able to drive home and knowing what was there, knowing my kids were safe, knowing my wife was safe, and for the first time in years, I had this incredible sense and feeling of peace and calmness, and I was able to breathe. You know, looking back at it, those 30 days went by in the blink of an eye, and so incredibly fast. And I remember going to the family program, learning about myself and the role that I played in Bert's recovery and in her addiction as well. And I also remember going to family days on Saturdays at Res 12, and those were always good days, and those were fond memories that we had of going into Res 12 and seeing her. But they were definitely a little bit awkward.
Hey. Hi. Hey.
How's everything going?
It's good. It's really good.
Oh, that's great.
You're good?
Yeah. How are you?
Oh, me. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm doing really good.
The kids were doing good. You know.
Yeah, I miss you.
Oh, same. I do. I miss you a lot.
So part of the family program that we had to do was they brought us together one time without the kids. And it was Bert and I sitting face to face in this room by ourselves with a family counselor there to help us negotiate, or navigate, I should say, not negotiate. It was definitely a navigation. And for the first time, we sat and talked openly and honestly.
Hi. So one of the things that we learned in the program here is that, and I'm telling you because it's good to know ahead of time, is that the relapse rate is 80%. And I just think that we should just know that going in, because the more prepared we are, the more we can just, I just think it's important.
No.
No?
No. I don't think I have a relapse in me.
Oh. Okay.
This was really the moment for us, the turning point. This was the first time I was ever able to say to the woman I love, no, this is where my boundaries are. And I wouldn't have been able to do that, A, without having the counselor there with us, because they really had to help us get through that, but without having the tools given to us through the family program to be honest like that.
And I wouldn't have heard him. I had been spending years negotiating with him and trying to get my way. This was the first time that I heard him. That's what Residence 12 taught me, was to listen.
And then Bert came home, and it got really ugly.
Well, let's go back. I remember when I came home, I was on this thing called a pink cloud. Woo! It is a sweet place when you're an alcoholic in recovery. It's those first few times you're sober, you're drinking coffee out of a coffee cup. Life is so good. I felt that everything was going great.
But for me, with Bert coming back from Residence 12, I had these unbelievably and impossibly high expectations for Bert to live up to. I thought, oh, she's healthy, she's sober, I got my wife back, got our mom of our kids back, everything is gonna be great. And there was just no way for her to live up to that. And so that's when I started damaging the relationship. That's when I started pulling away. And that's when I started to cause some real damage.
Hey.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Oh, this coffee is so good.
Another meeting, huh?
Yeah, early 7 o'clock.
Oh, wow. How many more of those do you got anyway?
Oh, well, just a little more than 4,000? No, just kidding. No, really, I have to go every day.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
You could come with me and see it for yourself?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think that's for me.
okay.
Yep.
I love you.
You know, there's this analogy that I read once that I really love, and it goes like this: like in a loving relationship, every time you do an act of kindness or something loving for your partner, it's like lighting a candle. And every time you do something loving and kind, it's like lighting another candle. And both of you light candles all the time. And you can imagine just this long line of lit candles in a loving, healthy relationship. But it works the other way too. The more damage you do to your relationship, the more negativity you bring, the things that you do that aren't healthy for your relationship, it's like blowing out one of those candles. And those candles don't go on forever. And for me and Bert, we got down to that very last candle. And I was ready to blow it out. if it wasn't for Bert and the lessons she learned at Residence 12 and the strength she was able to get from that, we never would have recovered from that.
And so now we had a new dance. Yes, we still step on each other's toes. Neither of us have much rhythm, but we're moving together and we're enjoying life.
So from those first scary 30 days, and thanks to the tools we've learned from Residence 12, we've built a life of recovery for the last 13 years, with many, many more to come, because we now know we have the foundation and the tools we need to really overcome anything.
That's it. This is us.